Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day, thanks in a large part to our pals at the VFS School of Game Design. Thank you so much, Vancouver Film School. Today's rundown is dedicated to Spidey82, has been watching us from the beginning and professes his love for EPN. We love you, Spidey. This rundown's all yours. Game maker Valve has announced an all-new project, and nope, it's not Half-Life 3. Last night, during the International DOTA 2 Championships, Valve announced a digital card battle game called Artifact, which is set in the DOTA universe. This will be Valve's first time entering the lucrative card battle genre, which has been getting very popular and profitable in recent years. Valve hasn't revealed too much about their new game, but we do know that it will utilize characters from the DOTA franchise, with players using their cards to build barracks, creeps, and lanes. That sounds a lot like rival Blizzard Entertainment's wildly successful Hearthstone, but here's what will set Artifact apart. Valve says their game will use 3 different boards instead of just one. They haven't said exactly how this will work gameplay-wise, but if they manage to pull it off, it should help distinguish their game in the rapidly expanding genre. Artifact will launch next year. The digital card game seems to be right in line with the direction the studio has been going. Valve has been moving away from big single-player games like Half-Life and Portal, instead focusing their efforts on more online-centric offerings like, well, Dota 2. If you're still holding out hope for Half-Life 3, you should probably give it up. And the makers of Borderlands and some of the Half-Life spin-offs are about to unveil a mysterious new project of their own. Borderlands developer Gearbox Software has announced that they're working on a new game codenamed Project 1 vs. 1. Only a handful of still images have been released so far, but they say it's a fast-paced competitive online first-person shooter, and the title indicates that matches will revolve around 1 vs. 1 combat. Obviously. Because card games are so popular, Gearbox also says that the game will include strategy elements similar to collectible card games. If we had to guess, that sounds like players will be using card RPG elements to level up their characters and collect new skills, but we'll have to wait and see. This won't be Gearbox's first attempt at making an online shooter. Last year they released Battleborn, which started strong but saw a huge decline in players shortly after launch, so they're probably hoping for better luck this time around. Given all the time they've spent making Battleborn, don't be surprised if Project 1 vs. 1 uses a lot of the same architecture and ideas left over from that game. We'll get to find out more when Gearbox holds a closed technical test on the PC later this summer. 2 of the biggest giants in the world of entertainment are breaking apart. Disney has announced that they're ending their distribution deal with Netflix. For the last few years, Disney has made their films available on the streaming platform just a few months after they're released on home video, but that deal will end in 2019. Disney has a good reason for doing this. They've announced plans to create their own rival streaming services, one for their sports network ESPN and another for their movies and TV shows. Disney CEO Bob Iger says this is a strategic shift in the way they distribute content. It comes as the streaming market is getting more and more popular with audiences. Here's the important news for all you superhero and Star Wars fans. Iger says that the break with Netflix won't necessarily apply to content made by their subsidiaries Marvel and Lucasfilm, so it's possible that they'll continue to license those films and TV shows on the platform. Marvel and Netflix have a very cozy relationship, having already co-produced 4 different shows and another 2 on the way. So thankfully, Disney's split with Netflix hasn't hurt their relationship with Marvel, at least for now. The latest Marvel and Netflix collaboration, The Defenders, arrives next week. We still haven't seen the last of the Hunger Games or the Twilight series. Distributor Lionsgate wants to continue both of those lucrative franchises despite the fact that both of them have exhausted their supply of original source novels. Speaking with investors, obviously, Lionsgate CEO John Feltheimer says that the Twilight and Hunger Games franchises still have a lot more stories to tell, and the studio is ready to tell them when the creators are ready. This sounds like Lionsgate is trying to convince Hunger Games author Suzanne Collins and Twilight author Stephanie Meyer to sign off on new stories that can be adapted into new, very profitable movies. Rival studio Warner Brothers made a similar deal with author J.K. Rowling to continue the Harry Potter franchise with the Fantastic Beasts movies, which just goes to show that a story is never really finished as long as it's still making money. Twilight and the Hunger Games are easily the biggest franchises from Lionsgate, so the odds are in their favor that they'll find a way to make more.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
We'll be sure to give you plenty of warning if new movies become a reality. And another big franchise won't be coming to an end anytime soon either. It looks like The Simpsons is going to keep going on and on and on for years to come. That's according to Fox TV's chairman and CEO Dana Walden. Speaking at the Television Critics Association Summer Press Tour, Walden says that she doesn't see an end to the show, and neither do the producers. At 28 seasons, The Simpsons is already the longest-running scripted primetime series in U.S. history and has already been renewed for 29th and 30th seasons, which will carry it until at least 2019. Dana Walden adds that there's no reason to end the show because the stories are still so fresh, but that's where some audiences might disagree. Despite the long run of The Simpsons, many feel that the show just isn't as good as it used to be and is nowhere near as funny as the glory days in the mid-90s.
What more do they want?
The earlier seasons were also much more realistic and grounded in reality.
Okay, how many of you kids would like Itchy and Scratchy to deal with real-life problems like the ones you face every day?
Well, many of the more recent episodes rely on zany plots and situations that seem to get less and less realistic.
And who would like to see them do just the opposite? Getting into far-out situations involving robots and magic powers.
I guess that's what happens when a show has been around for 30 years.
But after so many years, the characters just can't have the same impact they once had.
Which is why it's a little surprising that the network wants to keep it going rather than end it on a high note. Still, The Simpsons has a very loyal audience that continues to enjoy it, so they'll be happy to see it continue well into the future. That concludes the rundown for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more about game design, visit our pals at VFS.edu. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new episode for you, but in the meantime, watch some of the other content that we've made, and if you dig it, hit subscribe for us, okay?